Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the Wrestling Classic. Justin here, back for the TWC Show. Guys, first things first, make sure you follow and subscribe if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts for the first time, or if you're on Spotify, make sure you hit the follow and subscribe button. Also, there's new merch on TWCshop.com. We've got some new crew necks with the parodied NWO logos and stuff like that as well. And if you sign up to the Patreon for as low as $2, guys, you get exclusive content. You get the TWC Show on video. You get discounts on action figures and toys, AEW and WWE like. But you also get discounts on the merch on TWCshop.com. You get no shipping on that merch. So guys, sign up to the Patreon. Make sure you subscribe to the TWC Show. We'll be back on Dash Radio soon on Ruckus Avenue, guys. So be looking out for that. I got some good news on an interview I might be getting later this month. So that's another the return of the casual conversations. But today, I got a very special guest from Women's Wrestling Talk, writer for Women's Wrestling Talk, none other than Sammy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am great. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot happening in the wrestling world this week. We are going to recap Full Gear. We're going to talk about our favorite moments about Full Gear, which was a really good pay-per-view last night. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
But I specifically wanted you on here because we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw and SmackDown first. I did not watch NXT 2.0 this week, guys, so don't ask me anything about that. But let's talk about Monday Night Raw. And I wanted you on here because you are one of the biggest Liv Morgan fans.
Absolutely.
Liv Morgan, and I don't know if it's out yet, but you're going to be dropping a whole article about Liv Morgan.
Yes, it's not out yet. Hopefully after she gets this title opportunity, then it'll be out. So
I love how you talk in the lingo as if you work for the WWE, like the title opportunity. But they had a fatal five-way with the 5 women on the Raw Survivor Series teams for the women. They had it was Carmella, my girl Carmella. They had my girl Zelina Vega, also a friend of the page. My girl Liv Morgan, who's also a friend of the page. Bianca Belair, and who was the 5th one? Rhea Ripley. So they had Carmella, Zelina, Liv, Bianca, and Rhea Ripley. Strong 5 women. So they did a fatal five-way with those 5. Where the winner would get a title opportunity against Becky Lynch in the near future. We don't know when. It could be this week on Raw. It could be after Survivor Series next week. But you get a title opportunity. I thought it was an interesting choice, but also a good way to feature all 5 women that are going to be on the team to put them in a match against each other. Entertaining backstage segment where like Doudrop and Dana Brooke and Nikki Ash were kind of offended they weren't on the team and wanted to be. We had some back and forth with Bianca and Doudrop before Bianca made her entrance. And I made the comment, I'm like, I feel like they're going to make these 2 feud. They've been wrestling each other in the European. A lot of people were against it. How do you feel about Bianca versus Doudrop?
I mean, now, Bianca is a strong woman. So I do want to see her KOD Doudrops. It's been done once before. If she could carry Otis, then hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for.
So Bianca. I'm okay with it because my thing with this is like my biggest concern with moving Bianca away from Becky is that what do you do with Bianca, right? And I'm happy for Liv, but I was concerned about what do you do with Bianca. I'm glad they're having a few Doudrop for a bit, but I think you need to get back to Bianca and Becky hopefully by the New Year's pay-per-view. That is if Liv doesn't win the belt, which we'll talk about in a second because I'm very confused about how I feel about this. But our mutual friend Jamari made a point where he was like, well, they had Becky beat Bianca in 38 seconds, and everyone's like, let it play out.
Yeah, like let it ride.
And we really didn't get anything for it. Bianca still never got the belt back, so there needs to be a payoff in my mind. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if it's at WrestleMania next year, I mean, I would be here.
No, 100%. Like and I remember I was trying to say, I'm like, and this is probably me being the optimist again, being let it play out. But I'm like, let Bianca feud Doudrop for a bit. That's cool. But I think she'll be back in that title picture by around WrestleMania too, and I hope so as well. Let's talk about Liv Morgan though, because she won that fatal 5-way.
Yes.
And they played her off as the underdog the entire time. Becky was talking like throwing shade at her a little bit on commentary, like, all these other women have achieved stuff, but what has Liv ever really achieved? Like, Rhea's a champion, Bianca's a champion, Carmella's a champion, Zelina's the queen. Like, what did Liv ever achieve? And then it was a really fun match. I think that was my favorite match on the show, to be honest. Personally. I enjoyed it. All 5 women killed it. But how did you feel when Liv won?
Oh, I was ecstatic, over the moon. I was crying, screaming with happiness. I don't know, it was mixed emotion. She's been overlooked for so daggone long in the tag team, creative not knowing what to do with her. So now it's like she's finally getting this moment to shine, especially after Becky told her she'll be a champion. I think she's foreshadowing her own words and dropping that belt to Liv. I'm speaking it into existence right now. She will be champion.
So the fans love Liv. I'm a Liv fan. Right? Like
Yes.
I've met Liv in person. She's great. She's a great human. She's dope. She's super supportive. And my thing is that, like, I know there's some people that say, like, oh, if they put the belt on Liv, it's because they feel bad for her. It's a sympathy thing. But I'm like, if you don't do it now, when would you do it? Do you have her lose to Becky to a point where she comes back later on to come back to that belt because that loss hurt her so bad? Or do you have her win it here?
I think you probably have her win the belt there, especially if it's like just like a one-time thing, and you know she doesn't have like, she's like a transitional champion for someone, and Becky needs to drop the belt.
I say it all the time. I'm a huge Becky. I'm not. That's a lie. I'm not a huge Becky. I like Becky Lynch. I've had moments where I've been a Becky Lynch fan. She's, switched with Bailey as at the bottom of my favorite 4 horsewomen, Sasha and Charlotte on top. But I say it all the time. All 4 of those 4 horsewomen never really need the belt, and I like that they're at a position right now in their careers where they're elevating other women. Let's quickly jump to SmackDown though. Like, if you look at Sasha, she's in this thing with Shotzi, and it's like it's one of the 4 horsemen working with one of these newer women, and it's making things really, like, it's a really good thing. You have Charlotte out there cutting a hell of a promo on Becky, just talking her shit like only she can. And then Toni Storm comes down. I'm like, oh, this is something new too. Like, I like that. Not that Liv's as new as Toni or Shotzi, but we've never really had Liv in this position.
Yeah, never.
Like, we had the one moment where she had that match with Charlotte, but it didn't really go anywhere after that. She came back to go. Never had that time on the top. And I always was one of those people that was like, oh, if Liv's gonna win the title,
it has to be
Money in the Bank, or she should win the Rumble or something.
Yeah, Money in the Bank was horrible.
Yeah, it should have been Liv. It should never have been Nikki Ash.
Yeah.
But, in your honest opinion, you really think that Liv Morgan can beat Becky Lynch?
Absolutely. Especially we've seen Bianca and Liv go 1-on-1, and we all know they can put on one hell of a match given the opportunity. So I really think Becky can bring out the best in Liv, because we haven't been able to see how Liv does when she's given a title opportunity by herself and not attached to a tag team partner. So it'll be very interesting to see what the outcome is of this storyline.
I agree with you. I don't know. Like, I'm still on the fence, because I'm like, I'm totally okay with Becky losing the belt. Becky losing the belt does nothing to hurt Becky. But I'm like, is Liv gonna win the belt here, or is it gonna be a situation where Liv doesn't win, and then we get a triple threat at the New Year's pay-per-view?
Because the only thing is, like, so are they going to do it before Survivor Series, or are they going to keep this feud like
I feel like they're gonna do it after Survivor Series. I think they're gonna keep Liv on the women's team, which a really good thing they could try to do. Which is hard for me to say, because that means, well, these Survivor Series matches get forgotten afterwards. But that being said, guys, I did an article for 1:37 p.m. where I ranked my top 10 favorite traditional Survivor Series teams. That link is in my bio. I also made predictions, but due to all the changes that happened this past Saturday on SmackDown, I will be updating my predictions after Raw. Yeah. So we have a more updated list of who's on the team. So I don't know, or maybe I have to wait till after SmackDown next Friday, but I will continuously update the prediction section of that portion of that article, so you guys have the proper predictions. I don't even know if we can do predictions on this show, because we might have to do like a bonus Survivor Series prediction show, because it keeps changing and we don't even have the full card yet. And even to your point, like, if they do Liv and Becky tomorrow, and Liv wins the belt, then we're getting Liv versus Charlotte at Survivor Series. So I think what they're gonna do is I think they're gonna keep it Charlotte and Becky for Survivor Series, and Liv and Becky will happen after. I think they'll keep Liv on the team, but to make Liv look even stronger, like Liv might be like the sole survivor for Raw.
Yeah, I could potentially see that, especially with the team and whatnot.
Because Carmella and Zelina, as much as I love both of them, they can get eliminated. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Rhea would be like a shocking elimination, and I think Doudrop could come out there and screw over Bianca.
Yeah.
So that leaves Liv to fight against like maybe 3 people on Team SmackDown, but they can't get along with
She could run the whole Survivor Series at this point.
So could you see that Liv ends up being the sole survivor, and then also going to face Becky?
I'll be here. I'm 100%.
Speaking about trouble in the Survivor Series team, I think Kevin Owens turned heel.
I don't.
He attacked Big E, but then again, Big E attacked him last week. So was it an attack for revenge, or was it an attack of viciousness?
I think what they're. I mean, I don't know, because I thought Big E had turned heel, but then I was like, okay, they're cheering him, but then now Kevin Owens turns heel. So I don't really. Maybe they're teasing that Kevin could be Big E's next challenger potentially, but I don't really know if he's a tweener, a heel. I don't really know, because at this point they've both attacked each other. So I don't really.
When Big E did it, I think it was more of a like. Big E's been saying very confidently for the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. There's only room at the top for one. This isn't a Mount Rushmore. Only one person can be the top of Raw.
Yeah.
It's not Owens. It's not Seth. I'm the big dog here. No pun intended, not to be Roman Reigns, but he's the big dog on Raw. So then last week when there was that miscommunication, yes, Big E attacked Kevin. But the reason why I'm more because it could easily be that Kevin attacked Big E because Big E attacked him.
Yeah.
But if we watched Raw this week, it started off with Big E backstage with Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens trying to be like, listen, there's a miscommunication. Like, I'm a good guy. I've been trying to be a better person these days. Yada yada. The last couple of years have changed. I'm a good person now. He's going up to like the Street Profits, and other people are trying to explain that he's a good person. And I think it's like his origin story, like his Dhillon origin story, where like he's trying so hard to tell people like, listen, like I've changed. I'm not that person I used to be anymore. But nobody wants to believe him. So he's kind of just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like that's what happened.
What the hell? Like, F it.
Like, if no one appreciates how nice I'm trying to be and how good of a person I'm trying to be, then I'm just going to fuck out of you like I used to, if that's what you guys want. If that's what it takes for me to be the champion, then that's what I'm going to do. And I think, listen, I haven't been invested, and I've said this a lot on the show. I'm like, in the recent history, like when it comes to WWE, it's been really hard for me to be invested in the men's storylines. I dig the Roman stuff, but even that's kind of off and on sometimes. Yeah. And I've fully been invested in the women. Everything with Liv and Carmella and Zelina and Charlotte and Becky and Bianca. Like, I love all of the women stuff. And that's why we always joke, like, Nikki would come on the show and say, men's wrestling's thriving on Wednesdays because, like, on WWE.
It really is. Like, it really is.
But women's wrestling is a lot better in the WWE. And so I haven't really been that invested in. And listen, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, those are two of my favorite wrestlers of the modern era. And I just haven't been that invested in this angle. And I think finally they kind of got me going like, oh, what's happening here? Because I think I missed Kevin Owens as a bad guy.
Yeah, I'm especially from his like NXT days. Kevin Owens he thrives better as a heel than a face.
100%. I 100% agree with you. I like him as a face because he's easy to like. And Kevin Owens has the Randy Orton problem, where he's such a good bad guy, the fans start cheering him. Because Kevin Owens is such a good bad guy that the fans start liking him, and I think that's why he was turned face. But it's just, when WWE has a bad problem when someone turns into a good guy, they turn them into like a white meat. I'm gonna smile. I'm happy to be here, babyface. So it's like, no, we like people. That's the reason why Becky Lynch is still getting cheered, because technically Becky Lynch is a heel.
Yeah, but people love her.
She's being real. She's changing. Like when she turned babyface the first time, it intended for her to be heel. When she attacked Charlotte at SummerSlam, they were wanting the fans to boo her, but they weren't.
That wasn't going to happen at all.
Yeah, because everybody likes people that don't like. Randy Orton's doing it really well right now, where he's like technically a good guy with Riddle. But he's not smiling and overly like he's so Randy Orton. You know, at any second that he could like beat the crap out of him.
Any second, like.
And that's what you got to do with Kevin Owens. Like he can turn to a bad guy or a good guy again in the future, but you got to keep his edge. Is my point.
Yeah, and I want to see how they're going to follow up this attack. Also, like I just wanted to see like will Kevin Owens be added to Seth Rollins and Big E? Is he like teasing he wants a shot? So it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
It's been confirmed that Big E will be facing Roman Reigns in the Survivor Series, though, so I'm looking forward to that. When I did my predictions, I had a really hard time trying to predict who would win that because, by all means, I think I want Big E to win. I want Big E to win. I think Big E deserves that win. It'd be a huge win for him as champion. I talked about it weeks ago how like when Roman and the Bloodline came to Raw, they still end up all at the end of the show, and I thought that was stupid. TV show.
Yeah, I'm just like.
And on the flip side, like. I know you can't have Roman just lose. So
I mean, technically, it's the 25th anniversary of The Rock. So, I mean, if Roman, I mean, I don't know if The Rock's coming back at Survivor Series, but I mean, it would be a good way of Big E winning is if The Rock were to show up and turn on, you know, Roman. But I don't know if that would happen. I'm hoping it does because it's the 25th anniversary, but who knows?
That would be epic though. If The Rock came out and cost Roman the match, that'd be epic. I don't know though. I do think even if Roman wins though, The Rock coming out after just to confront him and then like
that would be
even if it's like a quick promo and they're gonna prolong it to WrestleMania in California in 2023, but just to plant the seeds here at Survivor Series.
Yeah,
I'm with it. If like even if they have The Rock come out to cut his own promo because the Survivor Series 25 years and The Rock makes a surprise appearance, and Roman interrupts him.
Yeah, and that would be.
Big E interrupts both of them, and then they get to the match.
Yeah,
just something with The Rock at Survivor Series would be super
like cool. The Rock has to be involved. Like they're saying, like, oh, The Rock's not going to return at Survivor Series. I think The Rock will be there in some way, shape, or
even if he just shows up. We've seen him randomly show up at a Philadelphia show and do a promo with Rusev. We've seen him randomly show up before.
Like just random. Like, hi, Rock.
He's not going to be on SmackDown next week. He's not going to be on, but he's just going to show up here, cut a promo, plant some seeds, and go back to Hollywood, and we'll see him maybe at WrestleMania or the week after WrestleMania, then to plant seeds for next year's WrestleMania against him.
Yeah.
That being said, like there's ways around this. Like I think last year they did a really good job of making Drew McIntyre look strong because
absolutely
tapped out. He passed out in the submission hold.
Yeah.
But also Drew McIntyre almost beat Roman many times, but he passed the submission hold. You could do that whole same thing over again with Big E, but then it might feel redundant because they're just doing the same thing. So other options are like a DQ, maybe a count out. Like I
think you have to have some way to keep both of them strong. Like
exactly because
double count out, maybe double
DQ where the Usos actually got busted trying to help Roman for once.
Yeah, something like that.
The bell and Big E wins by disqualification, but Roman never really loses. Like
something like you have to keep both of them strong. Like you cannot hurt your top guys as champions. Like I don't know how they can protect one or the other, so it'll be very interesting.
On the flip side, though, on the flip side, I don't think either one of them needs to be protected. That also made it hard for me who to predict. But Charlotte and Becky Lynch, like, either one of them loses, whatever. Either one of them wins, whatever.
That's a hard match to decide. Like, now that she's came back, Becky's been a different character than we've seen her. Charlotte Flair has been also, but I really think Charlotte might go over only because maybe somebody could get involved, like a Liv and cost Becky, I don't know, or have like a controversial finish or something. That match is, I don't know. That's a hard match.
It's gonna be good. You can cut the tension with the knife. We don't know if there's actual real life animosity. There's been a lot of internet speculation that there's animosity backstage. Becky. They're no longer best friends. That stuff that happened at the title exchange caused an actual rift. Yes, Becky Lynch went on that Sports Illustrated interview and said, "Yeah, we're not friends no more. I don't trust her." But I don't know. Maybe Becky's just playing up the character. Maybe she's trying to promote that. They are cool, but she's just saying that because she knows it's going to stir up the internet. And she knows how to rock it.
Playing to her character at this point because like who really knows at this point like what's
really
true or
knows?
not? Like
Who really knows besides the people backstage and Becky and Charlotte? They could be playing us all right now and sitting there laughing like, haha, look at all these people that think we actually don't like
texting and being like, ha ha ha, we got them and whatnot.
Look how many people think we actually don't like each other. Meet you for coffee later? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like,
like who knows?
Then,
And we know that Becky's a pro when it comes to doing interviews and making it still feel real. I remember leading up to Sasha coming back, she kept saying on interviews, I want Sasha to come back. I want to beat up Sasha. She's out there trying to find herself like a butterfly, yada yada yada.
I remember that, yeah.
Becky's like really good at like
stirring the pot with
working the internet, like feeding into what they already believe. Like, oh, they think me and Charlotte don't get along. Well, I'm gonna go on this interview and be like, I don't trust her. Like, so like it's hard to tell what's real or not. I'm sure there was actual tension after that SmackDown segment just because the way it went down. But I'm sure they're cool with each other.
They're fine.
That all being said, like once again, it doesn't hurt anyone to lose, it doesn't hurt anyone to win. But if Becky wins, whatever, right? Like I don't know what you really gain from that.
I know.
But if Charlotte wins, I feel like because the thing is the fans already like Becky regardless of the fact. But if Charlotte wins,
like regardless.
This is one of those times where I'm like, yes, I want Charlotte to win so she can rub it in the fans' faces.
Yeah.
Like usually I'm like, oh, Charlotte doesn't really need it. But I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, Charlotte needs this victory, especially if she's the only SmackDown woman, no shade, but the only SmackDown woman to win that night. She can even brag about it and say how she was the only SmackDown woman on the the roster to win.
100%. And then you have her go on SmackDown and say, I told you so.
Yeah.
So then if a Toni Storm or a Shotzi beats a Charlotte Flair down the road, it means a lot. Because now you're literally beating, and we already know Charlotte's the queen, yada, 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 but now you're literally going to beat the person that is like, I just beat the champion on the other show too. You know, like.
Yeah.
So they took Aaliyah off the Survivor Series team. They took Sami Zayn off the Survivor Series team for the SmackDown.
Unfortunately.
Aaliyah got a huge win though in that 6-man tag.
I
didn't see that. I thought he was the weakest link of the team.
No, listen. Aaliyah said she was making SmackDown bougie, and I think that win absolutely. Now the crowd, which I was surprised about, the crowd was actually behind her because we haven't really seen her like in the ring as much. So I was surprised that the crowd was so behind her. Like,
well, I felt the exact same way because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, especially Aaliyah. I thought she was just thrown in there just to take the pin and whatnot or something.
Aaliyah, Sasha, and Naomi. I thought either Sasha or Naomi would pick up the win, but it was Aaliyah.
Yeah, and Natalya too. It was over Natalya, so I'm not mad at that. Like Natalya probably said, "Let me put her over," so I'm not really mad at that. But Aaliyah made SmackDown bougie by that opening match.
Wait, it was Natalya, Shotzi, and who was on the
Shayna. Yeah.
I don't like. I popped because I didn't see it coming, and I
was so shocked. Like the crowd was just so into it, and I think it was because Aaliyah reminds me of Liv, if that makes sense. Like an underdog. Yeah, and so I think people when they saw Aaliyah, they were like, oh, okay, like. This chick got a win over Natalya, like a former SmackDown Women's Champion. Like, I'm just mad at Sonya though, but
it does make it seem like they're trying to make us feel sympathetic for Aaliyah.
Yeah, a sympathetic.
She got the big win, and then she went backstage, and then she got kicked off the team. And then now she's in a battle between two men with Ricochet.
At Sonya took her off the team. I don't know if Sonya could replace her, Naomi. I don't like. It's just so, and then with it's just so many.
So that was my next question. Who do you think replaces Aaliyah? Naomi?
I would probably say Naomi, only because if you look at the SmackDown women's team, everyone is involved in a storyline except Natalya because she's the veteran.
Yeah.
So if you want to continue the SmackDown storyline Survivor Series, you have Naomi be in there and Shayna and her get into it or whatnot, or have Naomi. I don't. It's hard.
Only people I can think of is either Naomi or you put Tony in there.
Or
Tony was impressed.
Zaya.
Oh yeah, Zaya
could, but I don't know how she would fit into.
How about the men's side? Do you think that who's that kid from NXT 2.0 that just came up? He was teaming with
Von Wagner.
Von Wagner. So he made his debut on SmackDown.
Yeah, he's supposed to join the men's team. I don't know. I haven't seen that much potential in the ring from him, and I'm being honest. So I don't really I don't know who can replace Sami Zayn. Ricochet would be good. I mean, hey, he's in the storyline.
Wait, is Ricochet in the match already?
No, sadly not.
No, he's not, right? So it's Mustafa Ali's not in there. We got Ricochet. Cesaro could join the team. Cesaro's like
because Ridge Holland might actually be on the team now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, I think they're building towards Ridge and a Sheamus feud, but it also seems like they're trying to build them as a team. I don't know where they're going with that.
I don't know, like, out of the whole men's Survivor Series team, like, the replacements, I don't know, like, who you can replace.
Oh, that also being said, we did get a replacement on Raw. I forgot almost. Bobby Lashley beat the hell out of Dominic Mysterio to earn his way. Because Bobby Lashley's all about beating up Legends kids. First Gage Goldberg and now Dominic Mysterio. He just whipped him.
Just call him the Legend Kid Killer at this point, okay?
Bobby Lashley just murdered Dominic in front of his father and got himself on the Survivor team.
It was really interesting. I was not expecting Dominic to get taken off, especially by Adam. Like, I was not expecting him to get taken off the team. Like, but I mean, if they are trying to turn Dominic on his dad, then okay, like, it would have been the perfect time to do it, like, at Survivor Series. But then now it's like you done took him off the.
We're such bad people. Why do we want Dominic to turn his dad so bad? Everybody wants Dominic to beat up his dad. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I guess it's because, like, we haven't really seen. Well, we haven't seen the Dominic as, like, coming to his own yet. He's been attached to his, his dad, his sister. So I think, like, once he turns on his dad, it will, like, usher another
side of Dominic.
Yeah.
Adam Pearce has had a life-changing experience after getting his ass whipped by Brock Lesnar.
Absolutely.
And I feel like we're seeing it now. He did have a point, though. The whole team was former world champions outside of Tom. And I think that's what the Bobby Lashley thing came in. Like,
it would have been better if they had, like, I don't know. It would have been better if they had qualifying matches instead of just going on and announcing them, because I feel like it just diminished, like,
I think they heard the fans being upset about how the people were announced, and that's why they're making these changes. To be like, look, we do have storylines first.
Like, I felt like they took her out because of the fans were complaining that it should have been Naomi. And point granted, it should have been Naomi. But however, Naomi is in the feud with Sonya, so it lived up to Sonya not,
And I'm down with Naomi getting into the match, but I'm like, who's going to put it in there? Adam? Because Sonya's not going to do it. Like, how does Naomi, like, does Vince or Stephanie show up? Like, no, Naomi's not.
I don't know if they're doing a Sonya and Adam, like, a general manager type thing. That's what I'm thinking.
They are. They're officials, but they're technically general managers.
But I don't even know who can replace Sammy or
Sammy. I mean, you can put Kofi in there. You can put Mustafa Ali, Ricochet. There's options. The Cesaro, but it's why, how?
Ricochet would probably be good for Finn, because I think, like, he would balance out and he can do, like, high flying things that other people can't. But I don't know.
Ricochet might be too busy with his new girl Aaliyah.
Her and I have to have a conversation about that. Another day, another
So,
time.
yeah, she's not only making SmackDown more bougie, she's trying to steal all the men. She's hanging out with Brother Nero. She tried to hang out with Sammy last week.
And I don't know if
She was
this
hanging
is
out with
character, but
Ali, and then she walked away with Ricochet.
now, however, if they are trying to do a tag team with Ricochet, Ali, and Olivia, I would not be mad at it at all.
Let me ask you the $1 million question here.
Yes.
Could you replace Sammy with a member of Hit Row?
Absolutely. You can have Swerve. I mean, people know of Swerve from NXT, but they don't know how talented he is. Hell, even put Swerve in there. Shit, I'll be fine with Swerve in there, top dollar. So I would be shit. Swerve could be the best replacement.
Honestly, Swerve or Top Dollar, either one of those two could be in the match. I don't know if I keep calling him Tahuti because you call him Tahuti. I don't know if Adonis. Every week I refuse to call that guy. Every week I call him Tahuti because you call him Tahuti.
Yeah, I refuse to call him Ashanti. His name's
Ashanti Adonis. I think he is still hurt or something. So I think pushing towards. Yeah, so I think they're pushing towards Swerve and Top Dollar as like a tag team with Adonis as like their
right now, yeah,
producer, right? So I think having Top Dollar in there is a good one because he can come in like a powerhouse. He could be like the
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Like he could be impressive against an Owens and a Seth Rollins with like holy like whoa, we didn't know this guy was
like
this. Or it could be Swerve, or he can out wrestle these guys.
Swerve can out wrestle almost. Well, not. Oh,
almost. He can wrestle them to a point where they'd be like, "Whoa, this guy knows how to wrestle." Like, you know what I mean?
Everything, like
Top Dollar can come in there and start like picking up people and throwing them. They're like, "Whoa, this guy's like a monster, low key." So I think a member of Hit Row will work too.
Yeah, Hit Row. Those are my guys. I love me some Hit Row.
Is that an ice cream truck or am I tripping out?
Huh?
Is that an ice cream truck? What does that sound?
It's my alarm clock downstairs. I don't know. It's going off every hour. Okay.
I'm like, is that an ice cream truck? I'm like,
no, it was the.
I haven't heard an ice cream truck in so many years.
I'm sorry. It was. I did it.
Totally fine. I thought it was an ice cream truck.
No, it was down here.
I'm like, I haven't heard that in so long.
No, it was just the alarm clock.
Okay, so outside of that, Roman Reigns wearing King Ward's crown, that was just blasphemy. That was disrespectful. I don't know where Kofi was this week, but that was just disrespectful. But I'm not gonna lie, when they put the crown on Roman Reigns, I was like, that's kind of funny.
The crown. Roman, he can go to hell. Respectfully.
Talking about
respectfully.
Talking about respectfully. Let's respectfully switch gears and talk about AEW because last night they put on a hell of a pay-per-view. Listen, guys, when I watched it live, I was kind of iffy about a lot of it, but then I kind of watched things back. Well, this was really good. Before we even get into the pay-per-view, I just want to say one thing about AEW really quickly. Give us a little bit of a break between matches. I know that you had a lot of matches on the show.
Woo!
But like, if we could have just got like a backstage interview or something between a couple, because sometimes I felt like a match ended. There's maybe like a video package. Boom, we're back to another match. Like a breather, because like the problem with AEW is that like every match is good in its own way. So we're literally going from like banger after banger after banger, and then you're just like
slow down.
I'm watching the show live. They did MJF and Darby. And then I think the next match after MJF and Darby was a tag title match with FTR and Lucha Brothers.
Yeah.
Both those matches was so much that by the time I came to Bryan Danielson and Miro, like I wasn't that much.
I'm drained.
I needed a break.
Yeah. I did feel like they put on like two good openers, like back to back, that people were really invested in. Now, MJF, I thought he was hurt legitimately. But Jamari had told me that guy is so good playing to his character, and that match, it was like it was fast paced, but they delivered. Actually, no,
that might have been my favorite match of the night. to be honest.
Yeah.
Between that and the main event, which I'm like, you know what? The one thing they did really good is they made sure the beginning of this story, this pay-per-view, and the end of this pay-per-view, they started off great and they ended it off great.
Yeah.
And everything in the middle, like you can have mixed
Yes.
feelings about, but they started it off great and they ended it great. I thought MJF and Darby was a tremendous match.
In a good way to open the show.
Listen, and once again, showcase that in AEW can bring in a CM Punk, a Bryan Danielson, a Miro, and all these Andrade and Malachi, all these kind of players, but they haven't lost their focus on focusing on their own young stars because they had two of their own homegrown young stars opening the show and just killing it. I've been a fan of Darby since I've watched him here in Seattle at Defy, and he continues to be good and he impresses me more and more every single time. He has a very unique style of wrestling, but that is going to back up my second point that all kayfabe aside, and MJF's a fucking asshole.
He is absolutely
he is really fucking good, and you can't deny that he is really fucking good. And he loves professional wrestling. He had followed my page before he even started wrestling. It's like he loves this. He loves old school wrestling. So him selling at me and him. And look, he cheated to win, but how else do you want MJF to win? That's
and
how he's supposed to win.
When they did that small package thing and they were rolling around, I was like, I was laughing because it was creative, but the crowd loved it. I was like, yeah, I need some more.
That's some old school. That's some old school great route. That's Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man, right there. Let's do quick near falls so the fans are like, whoa.
Fast pace.
Doing that. And for obviously they had a little bit of the shenanigans and all that. They had Wardlow and Sean Spears come out, and then Sting came out and beat them up to get them back to back. You need the Sting appearance, like that was necessary.
I don't know what they're doing with Sean though. Like that's the only thing. I'm like, I don't really.
So people ask me sometimes, they're like, so Justin, why are you complaining? Like, who's getting left behind? Because there are some people, and my friend group that I was watching with yesterday, he's like, oh, like, AEW needs to sign Bray Wyatt. They need to sign him. He needs to be. I'm like, listen, they need to stop signing people.
They have
there's already so much talent they forgot about. People are like, who have they forgot about? I'm like, where's Sean Spears? Where's Brian Cage? Where's these people that they brought in before?
I just feel bad, like for Sean though, because like I don't really know, like okay, you left WWE on top of a perfect 10. You come to AEW to do what?
At the beginning.
To do what? I'm sorry. To do what? Be a.
They booked him strong at the beginning with Cody, and then after that, I don't know. His run with the Pinnacle at the beginning when they're doing Blood and Guts was cool too. But now that whole Inner Circle Pinnacle thing ended, he's just back, lost in the shuffle. I did think this was the match where Wardlow would fuck over MJF, and they was
I was waiting. I was like, Wardlow, turn on him right now.
But I'm kind of happy they didn't do that. I'm actually okay with that because I was like, you know what? That was a good match between Darby and MJF. Yeah. I did think Darby should have won still, kind of, just because he did lose to CM Punk in the last pay-per-view, and it doesn't seem like he's been winning a lot recently. But then I'm never going to complain about MJF winning because...
Yeah, like it could have gone either way. Like, it was 50.
But 50. Probably they stole the show right off the bat. Probably my favorite match of the night, to be honest, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But shout out to them. Okay, that was a good match. And then we went into the tag match with FTR and the Lucha Bros. My only take on this is it was a really good match, but there's some... This is what it is, okay? The Lucha Brothers wrestle one style of tag team wrestling where they're like...
Yeah, FTR wrestlers are never.
Not really a lot of tagging, a lot of hoopla and jumping around, a lot of super kicks, a lot of like illegal guys in 5 seconds, where FTR wants to wrestle a more legit tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
But the difference, like the Young Bucks can wrestle the Lucha Brothers and wrestle their style, but the cool thing about the Young Bucks, and I'm putting the Young Bucks over here hard, is that they will also step back and wrestle FTR style if they have to. I don't know if it's a lack of communication or something, but something with FTR and the Lucha Brothers just does not click the way.
I don't. That match to me, it seemed like it was like off at one point too, where I think I'm gonna call him Dash No Router because I don't know which one. I'm gonna just call him Dash No Router. But it was one point where I think he was trying to counter a move, and then the Lucha Bro had springboard, and then it caught his knee, and I thought like that moment he was hurt because he kept screaming, like he was like, oh shit. So I don't that match, I don't. I'm sorry, but it's a no for me.
It
AEW.
wasn't a horrible match, but it was off. There was something off. The chemistry
Yeah.
is the greatest, personally. And this is not me. Listen, I like the Lucha Brothers. I think they're a great tag team. I think they're fun to watch. I remember seeing the Lucha Brothers for the first time at PWG, and be like, "Oh, these guys are insane." But I love FTR. I think FTR is like what tag. Like, if I was gonna say like off the top of my head right now, my 4 like greatest tag teams of this very current day, it's FTR, it's the Usos, it's the Young Bucks, and I can't think of a 4th one right now, but there's probably one out there. But like those are the people that like define tag team wrestling for me right now.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't there, and even the finish were like
that match was horrible.
Yeah, we're like now I forgot the guy's name because you said Dash Wilder. Dash Wilder is his FTR name.
No, it's Dax Harwood.
And Dax Harwood. So when Dax got back in the ring and he put on the mask to try to pretend that he was Dax, even though it was very obvious that it wasn't, they left it open to a rematch because the legal man never got pinned. Cash got pinned when Dax was the legal man.
Yeah.
Because of the Lucha Brothers match, who fucking knows who the legal man was? And when it ended, I was kind of like, oh, that's it? Like, I felt like there was one more kick out needed and like a bigger finish, but then it just ended there. And I was like, and also, once again, maybe just a personal opinion, I didn't necessarily think that the Lucha Brothers needed to retain the belts. I thought FTR could have run with the belts. I'm happy that the Lucha Brothers won the belts, and then the history
FTR could have won last night.
But once again, like I said on my prediction show, I think that both Pentagon and Phoenix could be single stars, and it doesn't hurt them more cash.
Yeah,
it's art tag team wrestling, and it would have been. But overall, like, it was a good match technically, but like there was just flaws with the finish, and
it was just all over.
I know we had the world title eliminated between Bryan Danielson and Miro.
Lord.
Once again, at this point, I was just drained, so I had to kind of go watch it back. Was it a really good match? For sure. I don't really have much more of an opinion on it. I did think Bryan was gonna win. I did. However, Evie said this. Santana said this also. She did think that whoever won this title, the title eliminator, it was going to determine who won the main event between Hangman and Kenny. I thought Hangman was going to win regardless, because if they didn't pull the trigger here, then this story is always. But I did get a little confused because I'm like, because Hangman's a babyface, I'm like, you could have Miro win and get the title shot on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But do you turn Hangman heel and have him?
We're going to go with the babyface Bryan versus the babyface Hangman, and what I think is going to happen, not to jump the gun a little bit, is I think Bryan beats Hangman and Bryan turns heel.
Yeah. I can see that.
Because Bryan's in this mode where he's just there to beat people up. He doesn't care if you cheer me or boo me. I'm just here to kick some ass.
Yeah, like, I'm just here in AEW to kick ass, take names, and go home.
The first media scrum after he debuted, he's like, I'm not here. He's like, CM Punk said he wanted to come here and help the younger talent. He's like, I'm not here to help the younger talent. I'm here to kick some fucking heads in. He already sounds like a bad guy. He's like, I'm not CM Punk. I'm not here saying I want to work with this younger talent. I'm going to kick some fucking heads in.
Like, I'm just here to... But I did think that was slow too. Like, that match had its like slow moments and whatnot. So
they worked a very WWE style, if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, especially I was but I'm happy.
No, I'm happy too. I was once again, another thing that one of my buddies said as we were watching, I'm just trying to pull up the card so I make sure I have an order. But one of the things my buddy said as we were watching it was that if you were going to debut CJ, like Lana, this would have been the place to do, because you could have had CJ help Miro win.
Yeah, like you could have.
And then you could have had Miro face Hangman like at the December special, Winter's Coming, Dynamite.
That's what I thought they were
going to have Hangman Miro still, and then they can move on from that. And then Bryan could still get a title shot, because Bryan doesn't technically need to win a tournament to get a title shot.
Yeah, I was ready. I was like, where's she at? Where's she coming? But I don't know if she really wants to do AEW. I mean, I can see why fans think that now, but it's just like they already have a manager heavy.
A lot of people. I think a lot of people are just under the impression that like they want to see Miro and Lana back together because they're such a good duo.
Yeah.
And there does sometimes feel like the Miro's killing it. Don't worry. I love this whole getting mad at God thing and everything. And you got to remember, like Miro's a replacement for John Moxley, and he made it work.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But that being said, like the idea of having Lana there is cool, but I think Lana kind of wants to pursue acting and stuff, as far as I've heard.
Yeah, she can be in Pitch
Perfect. Again.
Perfect. Yeah, Pitch
Number 5 or whatever.
Yeah. Do that the rest of your life.
Then the next match was okay. So the next match, like I said, by Miro and Danielson, I was kind of drained. It was a good story. They had Miro kick Danielson, and then Danielson found a way to make Miro tap out after getting his ass with the entire match.
Yeah,
it was a good wrestling story. But then we had the 6-man tag with Jungle Boy, Christian, and Luchasaurus versus the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. Baby. I will say this: it did bring the fans back into the show. They got back, and it was fun, and it was. This is the thing. I went into it knowing what it was going to be, and I enjoyed it because of it.
Adam Cole got his ass whooped. I never seen him get no ass whooping like that at all. Like, at all. I'm sorry.
Listen, there's a part of me that kind of really. Like, Adam Cole's 32 years old. He's pretty young compared to like Punk and Bryan. But I would say this: they've done a good job of booking Adam Cole differently than Punk and Bryan. Because so far, like Punk and Bryan just have not lost. They've been having matches and have not lost.
At all, yeah.
Picked up his first loss in his first pay-per-view match. No, don't worry, he didn't get pinned, but he lost a match.
Yeah, he lost. Like, what's the?
And I'm okay with it because I think long term, like you have a longer lifespan with Adam Cole.
Yeah,
like, with Punk and Bryan, like maybe 5-10 years.
5, 6, yeah.
Throw it down, you know.
Yeah,
Adam Cole will be here 10 years from now, probably still if AEW still rocking.
Yeah,
and I think I think it was really important for Christian to take a step back and letting Jungle Boy get that big one.
Yeah, Christian has elevated this team, but like Christian has. At first, I was kind of, hesitant at this point because I don't like them jungle people who belong in the wild. but I will say Christian is helping the younger talent as well, especially Jungle Boy, which is getting a lot of popularity. So that was a good thing from. And at one point, Jungle Boy just looked confused. He was like, "Well, I'm the only one standing up here. Like, where's everybody?"
Well, there was a conflict of Jungle because Jungle Boy is known to be like he's a good wrestler and he can get aggressive in the ring, but he's a very nice person. So the whole story was, would Jungle Boy do the concerto to Matt Jackson? Because he's like, Jungle Boy won't do that. He's too nice to do that.
Yeah, he's just too happy.
Yeah, so he was conflicted about doing it. And then when he finally did it, it's like, oh, he pulled the trigger. He finally shot the man. You know what I mean?
Is Marco with them still? Like,
they just didn't have him. They just didn't have him out there for this.
Oh, okay.
I thought that Luchasaurus stood out. The one thing about Luchasaurus, as much as the gimmick's kind of silly, like he's really good at what he does. And like
even when he was in the WWE, he was so good.
And that shooting star press off the stage, like that was cool. Luchasaurus gives me
6'1".
And I don't mean to make comparisons all the time, but Luchasaurus gives me very Kane vibes.
Yeah,
like you can have him there. He can do this. He can do the moves. He can choke slam people off the stage. He's someone you like to see, but then sometimes they don't get enough credit as they deserve. As like he could be a world championship, but maybe it's because of the gimmick. But like he's good. He's hella good.
He's really, really good though. Like last night too, and they changed my opinion of them as my perception has changed.
I understood the thumbtacks on the knee pads. I thought that was cool because they do the V trigger. Didn't we have to put thumbtacks in Jungle Boy's mouth? That is disgusting. That was just really.
I was just sitting there like I was eating. I was just like, oh no! I said I had to turn it off because I was like, I can't watch it no more.
So I'm like, all those thumbtacks even sanitary? They're just putting them in the man's mouth. Listen. This match was good. This was a street fight. It was intended to be a street fight. We already knew what it was. They came out in teams like it was a street fight. I'm not a big fan of I don't love hardcore matches and death matches and crazy shit. But to have it on the show, I do enjoy it. And this was one match that stood out different than the other matches on the show.
Yeah, it was really
we're gonna get to it, Sam. But the worst thing about this is that then we had the inner circle matches. It's basically the same thing, just a lot worse. But before we get there, following this match, we had the tag match, which honestly I was really looking forward to this because these are 4 guys I really like. Yes, Cody Rhodes has been very questionable with his trying to save racism and making questionable comments and focusing on his Hollywood career. But I do like Cody Rhodes at the end of the day. I think he's good in the ring and he knows how to cut a promo. But then he had Andrade, Pac, and Malachi. Those are 3 guys I'm very big fans
of. Me too. Yeah,
guys I thought were all really misused in the WWE. Undervalued. I think they knew how good they were, just didn't book them properly. I want them to shine in AEW. And I was like, oh, this is a match with 4 people that I enjoy. Like, this should be good. I knew there'd be tension between Pac and Cody, which we saw.
Yeah. Saw that definitely throughout.
There's 3 problems with this match, Sam. Can you guess what the 3 problems were?
The storytelling, the flow, and the finish.
Okay, so the finish was one of them.
Okay.
I felt like Andrade and Malachi deserved to win here to continue whatever this team.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Pac and Cody continuing to be a team moving forward. I actually see them feuding each other, it looks like. Cody did not need a win to end the storyline with Malachi. Malachi and Andrade could have won this and then continue to dominate and attack people. Because I don't know what this friendship is between Andrade and Malachi, but if we're going to put them together,
I'm here.
I'm here for it. Yeah, so like I felt like that was listen, I'm glad Pac picked up the win and not Cody. Because if it was Cody, I'd probably be more mad about it. But since it was Pac, I was kind of like, okay, it's cool. Whatever. Yeah. But I think Andrade and Malachi should have won. The second issue I had with this match was, did they not realize that Cody was getting booed? Like, is Cody not going to just admit that he's getting booed and that he should probably address or embrace getting booed? I know we cut the promo this past week saying, even if you boo me, guys, I love you guys.
I feel about Cody Rhodes. That's all I'm going to say. You know how I feel about Cody Rhodes. He's better off on reality TV on Rose to the Top. That's where his ass needs to stay at this point. I said what I said.
And there's one other issue with this match. I don't remember what it was, but I will. And the one thing that also stood out to me too was that I'm sure there was a thing outside the ring between Arn Anderson and Andrade's special counsel. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be Arn Anderson and Ric Flair, but Ric Flair got himself kept off TV after that dark side of the ring with both.
Yeah.
But when I was watching it, I'm like, oh, this was probably always meant to be Arn Anderson and Ric Flair having a face-to-face outside. So
that's what I thought. I was watching. I was like, something's not adding up. But I was like, okay.
They probably had this plan, and it was always meant to be Ric Flair and Arn.
After that dark side,
they couldn't do it, and then and even when the guy pulled, like, because that's the thing, we don't really know much about our Andrade's special lawyer guy. Like, we don't know much about him.
He's just
like him going there throwing off his jacket. It was like, oh, I get it, but I'm like, oh, this is probably supposed to be Flair and Arn, 2 former best friends, and but they couldn't do it. I almost thought though, like in that moment, like, well, what if Ric Flair comes out right now? I almost thought they still were gonna pull the trigger, but I guess
I don't know. I guess Andrade can have been doing some things, but I don't know if Rick is coming to AEW after that whole.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they're waiting for it to cool off. I think hopefully they have plans for Malachi and Andrade going forward, because
I would like to see them in the tag team though to see what they're capable.
Yeah, if you have nothing for them, keep them together for a bit, because now you've already established that they're friends. Maybe it's because Andrade and Zelina are best friends, and then Malachi's married to Zelina, even though we're not supposed to know that because they're 2 different companies.
Yeah.
Britt Baker versus Tay Conti. I don't think anyone thought Britt was going to lose, but the match was better than I expected.
I will say, Tay Conti showed the fuck out in this match. Like, from WWE until now, I feel like she's one of them, like she's one of the people who was underlooked in WWE, and now I feel like she's coming into her own in AEW. But there were some moments where I was like, are they going to let her be like Britt here? Because it was some points in the match where I was like, oh shit, Tay might actually win. Like, oh hell, like here we go. Fans can riot now on Twitter. Like fans can riot now, but that finish they had was so sloppy. Like that was the only thing about it, because I don't know if that's how the match was supposed to end. Like I don't really know if that's what they had.
I feel you on that too. So my thing is this: like, I think I just at no point did I think Britt was gonna lose, and it's because there wasn't like I feel like they shotgunned this match in the last couple of weeks. So there was a couple of weeks ago where we didn't even know who Britt was feuding. I thought you're right though. It was a good showcase for Tay Conti. This is the best Tay Conti's got to look on a big stage.
Ever been.
One of my buddies I was watching with was like, yo, she's like really good. She's a lot better than some of the other girls in AEW. And I'm like, well,
that's what I was expecting. I was like,
I had to explain to them, I'm like, haven't you noticed that the people that have, as much as people want to shit on the WWE, I'm like, the people on this show that went through the WWE system are a lot more crisp than the people that didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not dissing Darby or MJF or anything. They're all really good, but you can tell that Bryan and Punk and Miro and Tay all went through NXT and they went through the Adam Cole because they just hold themselves and carry themselves a little different. They're a little bit more.
They like really carry themselves.
They know how to wrestle the TV style. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then I'm like, the reason why Tay Conti kind of is as good as she already is because she has been on NXT for a bunch of years and she knows how to perform when given the opportunity because they've been trained that way.
Mm-hmm.
And she got to show that in this match because most of the time we see Tay Conti, there's decent matches on Dynamite and Rampage or quick squash matches on Dark.
Yeah,
we don't really like. This was her first big stage. I think moving forward, you could continue something with Tay if they wanted to, but I do think this was a shotgun match. I think this was just to make sure Britt had an opponent for the pay-per-view at this point.
Yeah, because it was like if you're not doing the TBS title, which they should have done, had at least one qualifying match on there, but that's
I thought the finals would have been on this pay-per-view.
They said the finals was on.
No, I thought the finals would have been.
for the yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it's gonna go longer. But that being said, I guess the finals is gonna be on the first show.
Yeah, TBS, but like at least like the semis or whatnot, I could have.
I mean, I didn't watch the pre-show kickoff, but they had like the tag match with Thunder Rosa.
It wasn't that.
Okay,
good.
I didn't watch
nothing. Yeah, you ain't missed nothing. It wasn't.
Then we got the match I was looking forward to. All for the last week and a half since the CM Punk Eddie Kingston promo. These just like it was exactly they went in there and they just beat the shit out of each other. It was a fight. It was a wrestling match. It was a competitive wrestling match, but it was a competitive in the sense that these guys wanted to beat each other up.
Especially when Punk got knocked out. I thought they were alluding to when CM Punk got knocked out in the UFC. That's what I thought they were doing. But when Punk got knocked out, I was like
right off the bat.
Like right off the damn bat. Like what the hell? Like
listen, I love the fact that there's OG wrestling fans and then there's like the super smart marks that watch all the indie shit throughout the years. I'm not that fan. I haven't watched all the indie shit throughout the years. A lot of it, but not all of it. But I am an old school fan that I love CM Punk. But then there's a hardcore indie fans that love Eddie Kingston. And the fact that the fans are so split down the middle and there was like, CM Punk, Eddie Kingston. I'm like,
it was
great.
The crowd was hot though. Like this crowd though was hot throughout the entire, and that's hard to do though. And
then just the subtle things, like Punk being a little bit cockier and being, like treating Eddie Kingston like he's a little bit below him. Eddie Kingston showing zero respect to CM Punk. The multiple middle fingers back to each other. The Eddie Kingston refusing to shake his hand after the match. Like all of this stuff. Like this isn't like AEW. I don't know if anybody that follows me that is an AEW employee or whatever. If you are listening to this, do not end this now. Let it keep going. We need more Eddie Kingston and CM Punk. It is not
absolutely.
I don't want to come to Dynamite this following week and next know CM Punk's in a brand new feud with some Will Hobbs or something again or something. Like, listen, I'm down for CM Punk versus Darby. I'm down for CM Punk and MJF. I'm down for CM Punk and Malachi. I'm down for CM Punk and Andrade. But I'm not done with Eddie Kingston yet. Like, I need more.
I'm not. I'm here for it to be now, not too long, but a long, just not
Give us one more match between these two where Eddie can beat.
Or best of 5. Best of 5.
I'm like, Punk can't lose yet. Punk can't lose yet. But I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit okay if he does to Eddie. I'm a little bit okay.
Yeah. Eddie is the only one I'm like, okay, if Punk loses here, then I'm okay with it. Like, that's the one.
And then the subtle stuff, because like I know over social media the past week, a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram being like, yo, this whole Punk and Eddie Kingston thing is very reminiscent to when Punk was in the face of John Cena, being like,
oh yeah,
you always looked at me like I didn't deserve to be here, or you were better than me. But like, remember that whole promo where Punk was saying that John Cena was Punk that way. Now Eddie Kingston saying Punk looked at him that way, and then Punk doing things like teasing the 5-knuckle shuffle. Like,
I was like, now, like now, no, really, like
teasing the 5-knuckle shuffle, pay homage to Cena. I'm like, I'm here for it.
I was like, is he gonna do it? But then he was like, nah, I'm good. But
I think one of the things about CM Punk that I always liked is I did like CM Punk when he was a little bit of a dick. And I feel like we got to see CM Punk be a little bit of a dick in this match. Because we've seen CM Punk wrestle people and be like, kind of like, return tour. But here it was like, there was a part where like, it felt like CM Punk was like, yeah, fuck you, Eddie Kingston. Like, you know, because we already knew Eddie Kingston was screaming, fuck you, Punk. But it just felt like Punk was like, yeah, fuck you too then, man. Fuck you.
I was like, fuck you. Like, at this point, it was.
And then Punk tried to do the good thing at the end, like, you know, shake my hand, I beat you.
And Eddie's like,
Eddie's head's like, yeah, but if I beat you, you wouldn't fucking shake my hand. Fuck you. And I'm like, oh, it's like they didn't have to say words. I was creating it in my own head.
Like, I was like, well, all right.
Because let's be honest, if Eddie beat Punk, would Punk shake Eddie's hand?
No, not at all.
You know, why is that? Sorry, my like email thing open. But yeah, anyways, I love that match. It was probably my second favorite. Oh shit. Give me a second.
You're fine.
I'll have to edit this. You still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
As long as it didn't delete the goddamn show, that's all that matters. Ah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Okay.
You want to start your camera again? Okay, there we go.
There we go.
What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna have to edit that out. That's okay though. Where's my mic? We're gonna go back over here. Okay, so we were at
Eddie Kingston.
So we'll just leave it at that one. Go to what was next. Okay, so now after Eddie Kingston and CM Punk, we had the Inner Circle versus America's Top Team.
It was fucking horrendous. I have not used that catchphrase yet at all.
What the fuck? Listen, there was some highlights in this match. I'm not gonna say everything. Like Sammy doing the jump off the top of the ladder, Baron Von Raschke Highlights. No, it was horrendous.
Why
though? Listen, if we didn't have the 6-man earlier with the Super Click and first guys, like maybe this would have stood up. But because we already had that match, this just kind of felt like, oh, we're doing another one of these matches again.
I just think they aren't like trained wrestlers, if that makes sense. Like, and so this match was just sloppy. I'm sorry. And the guy in the main man in America's Top Team,
Dan Lambert,
he was horrendous. I'm so sorry. And then it was a part in the match where Chris Jericho went to go pin him, and this man had a hole in his jumpsuit. I'm just like, well, you sure did get your ass kicked. And then Chris Jericho was beating him with a damn kendo stick, and this guy was not even. I'm sorry, but Tony Khan, if you're watching or listening, do not put no. It was do not put these guys ever again in a tag.
Yeah, I think I'm done with America's Top Team. Listen, the promos between Inner Circle and America's Top Team have been good. I can't
No, they have been good.
But everything else, the storyline, the reason they're feuding, this match has all been trash. Personal opinion. I wanted Sammy to have his TNT title thing going on. I wanted Santana and Ortiz to be facing for the tag titles against the Lucha Brothers.
It was just, especially kendo stick though. That kendo stick part where Dan Lambert was not good.
Yeah, and I wanted go to hell. I wanted the Santana and Ortiz to be in the mix with FTR and the Lucha Brothers. Like the Inner Circle has so much time to do stuff. No disrespect to Ethan Page, and you could have Santana and Ortiz. Know what they could have done? Because this is the thing that fucking confused me the most. If this was like, I remember my buddies asking me like, "Oh, this is a street fight." I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, I think it's just a
I was confused. So I was like, is it like a regular tag?
Why were they all standing on the apron waiting for tags if it was gonna be a street fight the entire fucking time? They started off standing on the aprons like this was like a Survivor Series match.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, okay, so it's just a regular.
And then they broke it down to a fucking fight. And I'm like, well, so why the fuck were they ever standing on the aprons in the first place? Why didn't they all just start fighting each other like this was WrestleMania 13 in the Chicago street fight? Because that would have felt
horrible. I don't know if it was the chemistry, but those guys are not trained wrestlers. Like
I appreciate all the risks they took. I appreciate Sammy.
Yeah, that too. The ladder. That ass whooped.
It was cool that they showcased Baron von Raschke, the AWA NWA legend that was next to Jake Hager's wife.
Yeah,
that too. Why would Ethan Page not punch the old man? What they should have done is they should have had like Jake Hager's wife slap Ethan Page into the claw. Into the claw instead of Ethan Page waiting for the claw to be put on him. Like, no, have Caitlin Hager slap Ethan Page into the claw, and then he could do his pose after he lets go of Ethan Page. Because now it just looks like Ethan Page was waiting to get beat up by some old 70, 80-year-old man.
It make for a good meme though. That's it did.
But and then obviously like Dan Lambert came out there like he was coming out to lead the dodgeball team. I don't know if you guys ever watched the movie Dodgeball, but it just gave me major dodgeball vibe. It was just a bad match. Great talent in there. I'm once again Chris Jericho. He's a fucking legend.
Chris Jericho is.
Sammy Guevara is the man. He's a man. Santana and Ortiz are fucking one of the best tag. They probably would have been the fourth tag team I would have mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And Jake Hager's he's an actual real life MMA fighter, tough guy. If they had this match like a 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match, I would have probably liked it more than
elimination fight. No, yeah.
Because someone asked me like, "Oh, is this like their Survivor Series match?" I'm like, if it was, actually, that'd be cool. Like, I'd fuck with that.
Like, I'm fine with that, but that street fight,
it's just and then once again, a lot of it felt like when people started going through tables. I'm like, we already saw this earlier tonight. We've already seen tables. We've seen candlesticks. We've seen chairs. Like,
we've seen everything.
They had, didn't they? I'm pretty sure they pulled out a ladder in the Young Bucks match too, didn't they?
Yeah.
We already seen ladders. Like, it got redundant. You know what I mean? Like, if we already saw it earlier, like, why are we doing it again? This could have been a 5-on-5 elimination match or just a regular 5-on-5 tag match or whatever, and it would have been just as good. It's just now it's like we're doing a bunch of stuff we've already seen. Like, did you guys not communicate with each other and be like, hey, we're doing these spots, we're doing that spot. Maybe let's not do a lot of the same stuff. I mean, at least that wasn't thumbtacks, but
it
was a poster.
Horrendous.
Last but definitely not least, we had
got one, Justin.
We had Hangman Adam Page coming out there with his cowboy shit against Kenny Omega, and the time was right. Like, if they didn't, you did. You're right. I did forget something.
Yeah,
I did. The debut of Jay Lethal.
Yes,
from Ring of Honor, and Jay Lethal actually won the scrum after the show and said he feels that Ring of Honor's doors are closing.
Oh, absolutely.
And this felt like the time.
Because he said he wasn't going to be at the pay-per-view. That's why I was confused, because I didn't know that he had signed a contract. I thought that this was like a Ring of Honor letting AEW use their talent.
Yeah, up until like he's gonna be on Battle still, and then he's actually
until like they rebuild his stuff. but Jay Lethal, who he's going to have, especially on Wednesday, him and
Sammy?
Barber. Woo! I cannot wait for that match.
If you don't know who Jay Lethal is because you're either like a really young, if you're like a really young fan or a newer fan, yeah. If you don't know who Jay Lethal is, you're a really young fan or a newer fan, I understand. But if you're like an older fan, you don't know who Jay Lethal is, or have you been living under a rock?
Yeah, like you okay, like
Black Machismo and all the stuff he did in TNA. He's been killing it in Ring of Honor. Obviously, we know that AEW was like, you know, spawned off of All In. Jay Lethal was on the All In card. I remember when AEW started as a company, like prior to them being able to even sign guys like Punk and Bryan and Malachi and all these guys, I was like, Jay Lethal would be a perfect fit for this roster. But of course, he was loyal to Ring of Honor and he was staying there and he was doing his thing.
Chill, yeah.
And now with all the stuff happening with Ring of Honor, he's like, I felt like this was the time to make the jump. Because I know for a fact that Jay Lethal is friends with the Young Bucks and these guys. He's legitimate, like he's been on Being the Elite. He's legitimate friends with these guys. He was a regular on Being the Elite up on the road to All In. Like, and you know, we know that they like hiring their friends. Like we all think that Kevin Owens is gonna go there if he doesn't resign in 3 months.
I do think the Kingdom coming to Ring of Honor, the Kingdom, not Ring of Honor, excuse me, AEW would be a perfect fit for AEW. Not Maria, but you know, she could
not Taven and Mike Bennett. I'm just more on the listen, I'm happy that Jay Lethal's here on national television again, getting that spotlight. Gonna work with some of the best talent in the world. I don't think he would have fit properly in the WWE. Plus, his age is a thing I think now. Which is
I think he really would have been like a good fit for like NXT, but now that is like his age is a factor. I don't know exactly how.
My biggest thing is, like I'm still on the fence of like just stop signing people, guys. This is a great one though. I can't even be mad about this.
Yeah, this one, but they need to do what WWE is doing and release, like have like not monthly cuts, but like at least every year.
Because there's some people like, where's Lance Archer? Where's Brian Cage? Where's Shawn Spears? Like some of these guys can be like probably go prosper somewhere else if you keep signing more guys that are gonna put in other spots.
At this point,
it's tough. But I'm happy Jay Lethal's here. Sammy came out, confronted him. I've been a Jay Lethal fan for years. I'm excited, man. I think he's gonna fit in perfectly. And like I said, I thought he would have been with AEW since the inception in 2019. Like he was one of those guys. I'm like, oh, they're definitely gonna sign Jay Lethal. But he was one of those guys that held out, like Marty Scurll was another guy. I'm like, they're definitely gonna sign Marty, and then Marty held out. Some people were just really loyal to Ring of Honor and wanted to stay loyal to Ring of Honor. And
now look what happened.
Now that Ring of Honor's door is shut, now it's or might be shutting. Like the time is perfect, and I'm also finding it really. I know it doesn't fucking mean shit. It was a long time ago. Nobody fucking cares. But Jay Lethal used to date AJ Lee, and like CM Punk's there, and it's just funny.
Hey, you could bring AJ and have her in the feud with them too. I wouldn't mind.
And yeah, man. And for those that don't know, like Jay Lethal's almost been around just as long as the Punks and the Bryans and the Samoa Joes and the Kingstons. Like he's been
up
here,
there,
man.
Up there. He's
one of those OG. He's one of those OG indie guys that have been doing this shit since like 02, 03, 04. Yeah, so now Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Hell of a fucking match. Told a great fucking story. What a payoff to a 2-year-long story. They've been building this Kenny Omega. They've been building this Hangman Page story for 2 years. From him being a part of the Elite, joining AEW, leaving the Elite, being a lonely, lost drunk, trusting the wrong people, finding the Dark Order, finding a family within the Dark Order.
Yeah.
You know, even when he was like finding the family of the Dark Order, he was teaming with Kenny Omega with the tag titles. Everybody thought Hangman was going to turn, but it ended up being Omega that turned. Then the Elite became this cocky, arrogant thing, and Hangman just couldn't see himself associating himself with them. You know, then they like had their issues in the past. They've even all beat him up. The Elite beat up Hangman altogether. Then he took some time off because in real life he was having a child. He comes back. He wins the Battle Royal. Like honestly, like, and I said this in my caption, I'm like, the greatest story AEW has been able to tell yet out of all their stories, whether it's come back or Brian Danielson showing up or any of their stories, the best story that this company has been able to tell so far is the Adam Page story.
And I was happy that Adam won. However, I was more invested in the Young Bucks outside the ring when they told Hangman it was time. Like, are they teasing that the Elite is no more? Like, what are they going to do? So it was very fast, but they told, and it was a great way to take the belt off of Kenny, though. Like, that was like the one person we know who was going to take the belt off of
There's a couple of funny ref bombs, like when he did the buckshot lariat onto the ref. Don Callis got taken out. My bad.
You good?
Whoa. The thing that stood out to me too was the Young Bucks coming out there, because for a lot of Kenny Omega's old, like back in the Kenny Omega's biggest world title matches, the Bucks would always join him to the ring, and a lot of the beef started way back when Hangman had his big title shot against Chris Jericho. The Bucks didn't want to go out there with Hangman. You know, they didn't want to support Hangman when he went out there to fight Chris Jericho. They just did that for Kenny, and that's where Hangman, like, well, you guys don't want to come support me. I'm getting this big opportunity. Like, that was the beginning of Hangman kind of be like, well, these guys, like, are they even my friends? Yeah. And now you fast forward, and the Bucks come out there, and we know the Bucks have helped. The Bucks are what the Usos are to Roman Reigns. The Bucks have helped him to keep that title. The Bucks usually do, like, go watch all the Kenny Omega Okada matches from New Japan that are so famous. 90% of those matches have the Bucks at ringside because they would come out there with Kenny, or they'd walk into the ring and then head to the back. So they came out there and like, oh, okay, here we go. The Bucks. If you're like a hardcore indie fan or a New Japan fan, like, you know, this chemistry between the Bucks and Kenny Omega, like they're those guys. Time out for a second. I fucking love Tony Schiavone because he said, "Here comes the." He's like, "Dipshit alert!" when the Bucks came out, and I kept laughing. Because I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, I'm gonna make a T-shirt. It's gonna be a new band. It's gonna be Kenny and the Dipshits, and it's gonna be Kenny.
Oh my god!
And Kenny and the Dipshits is gonna go viral. But there was something very fulfilling when Hangman did the buckshot lariat to the back of Kenny's head, and then he was going to do it to the front of Kenny. And Matt Jackson walked around the ring, and you're like, and Hangman knew too. He's like, "What? You're gonna pull me down? Like you're gonna stop this?" And then Matt Jackson gave him that nod of approval, like, "No, go ahead, do your thing." Boom, buckshot lariat, 1, 2, 3. I was like,
it was over with.
Like, oh, like, is that it? Like, is the Elite done? Is there tension in the Elite, or is this just like because Hangman yelled at them on Dynamite saying, we used to be friends. I thought you guys had my back. Then all this stuff happened. Like, all I'm saying is don't interfere in the matches. And they didn't. They respected Hangman's wishes and they did not interfere. And I think that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I think the Bucks are going to turn face. I think this is what is leading up to Hangman potentially being like the Kenny to the Young Bucks, like right now. So who knows?
And of course, the Dark Order came out there. And if you guys have been listening to this show weekly or follow my page or watched the live stream, I've been on Clubhouse. I've said it for the last 6-7 months. This all needs to end with Hangman Page with the world title, with the Dark Order holding him on their shoulders. And it did. And that's exactly what ended.
It did.
They needed some purple confetti or something, but it did.
Purple.
And honestly, and like the nuances, like they tried to give him a beer, and he threw the beer. He didn't even want to drink no more, and he hugged his friends.
I do think that Hangman, I think him and Brody were close, so I do think that they want him to be like the new.
I don't think there's a leader to the Dark Order. I think. But there was an angle before Brody passed away that if you were watching BT, Brody kept getting mad because they were doing the whole recruitment thing on BT where the Dark Order was supposed to try to recruit people. And he kept getting mad that they wouldn't get Hangman because like, Hangman's free, you didn't get Hangman. He threw the papers like, oh.
Yeah. So I do think this is like a foreshadowing type thing. So
also, that being said, all the shout outs, yesterday was the 16-year death anniversary of Eddie Guerrero, and there's a lot of tributes paid to Eddie Guerrero. Dax Harwood did the Three Amigos, CM Punk did the Three Amigos, Jericho did the frog splash and the shimmy, and like even after the match said, "I love you."
Conti did that also, the shimmy,
yeah. A lot of Eddie tributes yesterday. Overall, though, I enjoyed the show, and I think like a lot of people like, no, Kenny was gonna still win. Watching, I'm like, listen, I think a lot of wrestling fans suffer from trauma due to the WWE's booking.
I do.
They don't realize that 99.9% of the time, AEW just gives you what you want. If that's predictable to you,
then
you're watching the wrong show because they're gonna give you what you want, and they gave people what they wanted. At the look at every match on card. What did they not give you? That did you really want Tay Conti to win the title? Yeah, I don't think you really wanted her.
I did. I mean, I did need another women's match because
for sure
this show was very men heavy.
Well, men's wrestling thrives on Wednesdays and 1 hour on Friday, according to Nikki. So.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But that was I really enjoyed the show. Overall, I'd give this show. I wouldn't say it was one of their greatest pay-per-views. I think I'm like, how do you hold up to the Double or Nothings with the Stadium Stampedes or the show where Punk made his in-ring day?
You don't like. It's no way to top that.
Yeah, like Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson come out. Like, it's hard, but like this was a really solid top to bottom pay-per-view. Like I said, watching it live, there were moments that dragged because there was so much wrestling and good wrestling back to back.
And 4.5 hours is too long for it.
But then they found ways to bring fans back in. The fans got back into it with the Young Bucks match with the Super Click versus the Lucha Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. Then the fans kind of fell out of it again. But then they got back into it when it came to Eddie Kingston and CM Punk. Then, you had the filler match with the Inner Circle and whatnot so that you would be ready for Hangman and Kenny Omega. So usually I give AEW a lot of flack of the order they put things, but they ordered this proper and they made it work.
Absolutely.
They knew the matches that were going to bring the fans back in, and they had it work that way. And they knew everyone was going to be happy to see Hangman Adam Page win that belt. And Tony Khan kind of breaking the fourth wall said he knew since day one who his first 4 champions were going to be.
Oh, wow.
Jericho, Moxley, Omega, and Hangman. He said he already knew that. He's like, at the beginning, I already knew who my first 4 champions were going to be. And a lot of people started sharing the posters. I think it was like to All Out or something, but the 4 people on the poster is Jericho, Moxley, Omega, and Hangman.
Oh, wow.
But that was,
knew he said
that in the scrum after the show. He's like, I knew a long time ago who my first 4 world champions were going to be. But that begs to question, who are the next 4? Who are the next 4 people that you see becoming world champion? So, Sam, I'm going to let you go first. Who do you predict will be the next 4 AEW world champions?
Oh, Miro, Jungle Boy, Christian, and Leo Rush.
Oh, wow. Those are some bold choices. So, I'm going to go with, I think, Bryan Danielson. I think he's probably going to be the one to beat Hangman. And guys, I'm gonna skip repeats because, yes, sure, maybe Kenny Omega or Moxley, or Hangman or someone could win the title back. I'm saying the next 4 new champions winning it for the first time. So I'm gonna say Bryan Danielson. I'm gonna say MJF.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna say Adam Cole, and I'm gonna say Darby Allin.
Yeah, I can see that.
I know I didn't say Malachi or Andrade or Pac, but I don't know if Malachi is a good one. Malachi could happen, but
I don't know if he.
Really, I think Bryan's gonna beat Hangman. I think Hangman could win it back something, but I do think eventually MJF's gonna win that belt. I do think Adam Cole's gonna get that belt eventually, and I do think that Darby, like the way that they've put so much into Darby, that's gonna be another Hangman.
He's not.
It's gonna be another Hangman moment. It's going to be another Hangman moment where we're going to wait for it and be like, oh my God, he actually did it,
Now let's see if Tony Khan knows who his 4 no women's champions are. Because he doesn't give a shit about no women. So let's see.
He just knew that Britt was going to win it eventually and hold it for a very long period. Other than that, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us this week for the TWC Show. Hope you guys enjoyed the recap and not. Sam, is there anything you want to plug before I let you go?
Hit row forever, and make sure y'all check out me on Women's Wrestling Talk, but Hit Row forever.
Hit Row forever. And you are the what are you to Hit Row?
The label executive of Hit Row.
Guys, the label executive to Hit Row is right over here with Sam. Guys, you guys know where to find me, guys. Click the link in my bio. Check out all my articles. Like I said, I will be updating the Survivor Series one as we move forward with it because they keep changing the matches, so the predictions will be updated. We might do a bonus show for predictions for Survivor Series since the card is changing so much, and we usually record this on the weekend. Maybe by Saturday we'll drop something. But other than that, guys, check out the articles, check out my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel, check out the old interviews and whatnot. I think I got a couple of new interviews coming up. I think, guys, and I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want to jinx it, but there's some cool ones I think coming up. They're gonna be all elite. Let's just say that. And then also, guys, subscribe to the TWC Show. If you aren't already, if you're listening to this for the first time or something, subscribe to the TWC Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave a rating, leave a review, share it with your friends. If you guys want me to talk about things, shoot me DMs, comment on stuff like, hey, can you talk about this on the show? We'll talk about it. I want to get you guys more involved with the show. I want to answer you guys' questions. Maybe I'll start a new segment where I answer you guys' questions and stuff. But other than that, guys, keep doing the thing. Go follow Sam at its.sammy on Instagram as well.
It's not just Sammy. You have to put.
It's not just Sammy. Go follow Sam on Instagram. It's just Sammy. There's nobody else there.
Yeah.
label executive for Hit Row.
Yes, absolutely.
Keep doing the thing, and we'll see you all next time. Ooh, yeah. Dig it. All right.